Hey everyone, it's Christina with Kutha Crafts. Today I am going to show you a 21-inch mesh wreath base. And I'm actually going to be doing this method to show you, one, how you can make a roll of mesh last longer, use up your leftovers, and if you're using some of this pretty mesh, that's the heavy foil, that stuff costs a little bit sometimes, so you want to make that stretch as many projects as you can. So I went ahead and pre-cut some of this, but I'm going to do a couple here. So for this wreath base, you're going to need a standard work wreath that has 18 ties. I have 3 different meshes here. For the base, you're going to need to cut 6 sets of each one. So I stacked them on top and used my mesh roller at 10, 11 inches each. And then after that, you're going to cut 8 to go around the top at 15 inches. I will be using 4 different mesh for that, so I'll only use 2 of each. That's a good way to use your leftovers up, especially if you want to incorporate more texture or color. So let's go ahead and get started cutting. So we have, there's 10. So that would be our 6th one. Now we're going to cut 2. And that 15 is a little bit fluctuating. For me, sometimes it's 13, sometimes it's 15, sometimes it's 16. It's really whatever you're kind of feeling led to do and what you have. So, and now, doing this method, you should be able to make a roll of mesh last 3 to sometimes 4 projects, depending on how big your cuts are. So let's stretch this out. I wanted to incorporate a little bit of gold, but not too much, because gold can be pretty overpowering. So there's 1. All right, so we are done cutting. So we're gonna move that out of the way. And these strips here, you're not gonna use until the end. So you can go ahead and move those out of your way if you need to. I'm gonna pull over some of my pre-cut pieces. All right, so you're gonna want to start with pulling your wreath frame up and getting your ties separated. We are going to start on our bottom row. And you're just going to pull these apart. And what you want to do is you're going to be doing a ruffle with a poof. So about 5 inches, it'll depend on how big you want your poofs. About 5 inches, you're gonna ruffle the ends, and then you're going to place it in that bottom tie and twist it one good time. You don't want to twist it a whole twist, just a half. And then you're gonna ruffle up the back end of it. This will create a poof in the center, and you're going to place it in that tie and tie it. Then you'll grab your next color. So we're going to use that heavy foil that we were talking about as our next one. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. You'll open up that last tie that you tied in, place that ruffle. You'll want to pull it towards the outside. Ruffle up the other end, poof your centers. Place it in. And now we're on to the green. So we're going to open that other tie up again. And so you're just opening and closing each tie and putting the next ruffle on top of the last ruffle, pulling the last ruffle out and then making that poof in the center. The first couple of times that we did similar methods to this, or even this method, there's a point where you're like, I don't know if this looks right. And then it'll all work out. Just trust the process. And so you're just working your way around. And you're just alternating back and forth between the colors. The other advice I would give you, this is just a personal preference. Some people are a little more particular. I don't spend too much time overthinking the ruffle. Like, it doesn't have to be super perfect. I kind of just grab each end, curl it in, then grab the center and place it in. We are on to the next bunch. My rings have gotten caught on that 3 times. Go ahead and take them off. Oops, runaway roll. Each one we're stacking. So as I get to the end here, because I chose 3 colors, if I used purple again, it would land on top of each other. So it would be like purple, purple. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to skip over. And I'm going back to the Mardi Gras. And we're going to put it in. Open. And then we're going to move. Now we've completed the entire ring on the bottom. We're going to move directly up to the top, doing the exact same method. Except for it, so now I've got this purple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop back a row. So they are like diagonal from each other. And put it in. We're getting all stuck together. Another tip is you're going to want to make sure you curl those ends in, whether it's on the poof or on the their ruffle. And we're stacking. I'm still only doing that quarter twist or half twist, whatever you would call it, on this top row. And I'm still pulling those ruffles out from underneath each other. And then when you get to this point, what you can do is, like I stated in the email, if you don't like the curls, you can just continue around the top with the same method. If you don't like ruffles, you could curl these ends instead of ruffles. This is one that you can kind of play with and make it your own. I prefer a combination of all three. I feel like it gives me the most volume. And I am actually seeing that our colors are going to overlap, so I'm going to just pull this out and then flip-flop my colors again. I did that twice. No, I was right the first time. Silly me. There we go. And there we go. All right, so we have done the top two rows, and we are now going to go around for the second time on the top. So we're going to use those 15-inch pieces, and your top should have 8 ties. And so I cut 4 of each color, and I'm actually going to start with my gold. And so what I'm wanting to do is you're going to create a curl, a loose curl that's about 1 inch, 2 inches wide. And then you are going to open up, you're going to fold it in half and create a poof. You want to put your seams down, open up, and tie that into your tie. And then this section here that you made that curly loopy thing, you can actually come in and pull it apart a little bit and create more of a poof. And you're going to use that to fill in some of these gaps. There'll be some gaps in this that you'll want to fill in. So I've got that. And then I'm going to count 4. So 1, 2, 3. Here's 3. And then this would be 4. And I'm going to do another curl, roll it up, fold it up, put it in. You can pull it apart. You'll want to fluff the ruffles and stuff underneath around it. right. And then we're gonna go grab our next color. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Mardi Gras one. And we're going to repeat that same curl, fold it in half, open up your tie. Now the thing that I do is I alternate the directions, whether it's long, whether it's sideways, whether it's this way, of the curls. So curl, fold it in half. And we're doing a green. Sometimes if you have trouble gripping it and getting it in a position that you're comfortable with, you can use two hands, one hand, whatever works. I've seen people use clothespins also to hold it. Just stick it this way. And again, this does not have to be perfect. This is not because you're still going to add your embellishments to this, and it's all going to fill in nicely. So now you have your base. What you'll want to do is you'll hold it up and look. And so I see this spot over here has a little bit of bareness, so I'm going to pull it and fluff it. Actually going to go ahead and cut a third gold piece. So if you're finding a spot that you are having trouble covering up, like there's a spot in here that I'm having trouble, you can cut you an additional piece and put it in, and it'll fill that spot right in. And so we're going to set this upright like this. And also, if you are not worried about that hole because you're going to put a lot of ribbon and other attachments in there, that hole might not be a priority to worry about, and you can just keep on keeping on. There is our base. Thanks for watching.